Bitcoin today, and I shouldn't say the stock, the crypto was down a little bit, but it's starting to push back up a little bit. Take a look at this on the big board. Remember what I've said to you guys, right? So remember that Bitcoin
Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, let's discuss these topics and more.
Let's jump over here and take a look at what the markets are doing in the pre-market. This is the S&P 500 or the SPY tracking ETF. We can see this is where we closed yesterday, and this is where we're currently trading. So you are just fractionally higher on the morning session. Again, the bank earnings are helping lift things just a tiny bit. You can see again in the overnight at 4 in the morning, we were down a little bit, but the normal pattern is that as the markets trade from early morning pre-market to later pre-market, there's this tendency to see a float higher. What you're seeing there is, again, retail investors can start to buy usually at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. They get the ability from their brokers to start to inch in, and they do so and start buying the market up. And it's been working lately, let's be fair, right? Remember, folks, we've talked about the measured move. You have the measured move with a $6,100 price target here. We take a look at that. So that's one target potentially, and then you also just have the 6,000 even number, which again, even numbers subconsciously. Usually once you get close enough to an even number, there's a magnetic pull towards that level. There's just something about those even numbers. We all like even numbers, right? It's like the big 6000. The pom-poms come out in CNBC land and Bloomberg and Fox Business. They love to pump that. The media pumps it. It tends to give that final push in the market before you get some sort of correction. So always keep an eye on those even numbers, guys, with the charts. All right, couple other things to go over. If we flip over to, again, the daily chart of the S&P, you can see, again, here was our former pivot. We came up, we kissed it, we pulled back, we hit it, we broke out, and then look at how you hit it here, bounced, hit it here, and then rallied higher. What that tells me is this level is going to be major for us to watch. If at some point we trade below that on the SPY, which is around 565, then you start expecting a bigger move to the downside. But as long as we hold this line, look for the $6,000 price target on the S&P to be your next upside target. And in all fairness, if we go over to the S&P itself here and we take a look, we look at how far away is that at this point. And we'll use our measurement tool so we get an accurate reading. And we're only at this point 2.5% away from 6,000. So it's certainly not a big move.
Bitcoin surged to $66,300 on October 14, but questions remain about whether this signals a lasting trend change or another rally capped by resistance. For 7 months, Bitcoin has struggled to break above key resistance levels, and the $65,000, $66,000 range is proving difficult once again. Despite the price touching $66,300, BTC has yet to close a day above the descending channel's trendline, leaving uncertainty about whether the rally will continue. The rally was fueled by futures market activity, with short sellers forced to cover their positions as BTC surged. This was evidenced by spikes in open interest and funding rates during the price move. According to crypto options experts, investors are growing more bullish. There is increased interest in call options with strike prices between $75,000 and $100,000 for Q4, reflecting rising confidence in a potential breakout by year's end. While optimism is growing, resistance remains strong. Bitcoin traders should expect further price fluctuations as sell walls in Coinbase's order book could prevent a clean breakout. Analysts suggest that although a breakout to new all-time highs is possible in Q4, traders should still anticipate a range-bound market for now. Bitcoin's recent rally is promising, but it faces significant resistance that could stall further gains unless bulls can sustain momentum.
Bitcoin had major technical support at the pivot line, and it held here, held here. Then you came up and you had this area, and this area, and it broke out. So this is telling me more and more that this is your upside target here. Now, is it Does this mean you can't get through 68,000? No, you could, but you have to expect that there should be some sort of consolidation or pullback at that level. But 68,000 is still the level to beat. If it beats 68, if you get above 68 and confirm above this downsloping channel, that's the bigger breakout. Now, if you get the bigger breakout of this long consolidation pattern going back to the all-time highs, I think it was in March or something at 74,000, now you're talking about a much bigger breakout that could take us well above the all-time highs, maybe even towards 100,000. Now, let's be fair, and I always try to look at things. So that's your bullish case. The bearish case is, and it's a very simple bearish case, is that all of a sudden the stock market starts going down, and then that draws Bitcoin down. And that's been my thesis for the longest time. The only risk to Bitcoin is risk assets. If risk assets start dumping like the stock market, which is ridiculously valued at this point, then Bitcoin comes down and comes down hard and fast. For those of us that might want to buy some more, that would be obviously ideal. But again, it's all about, let's just keep an eye on the chart level, 68,000 and 74,000, and also keep an eye on the stock market, the S&P and the NASDAQ. Those are the keys right there. All right, quickly going through to a couple other charts here. If we look at gold this morning, gold is trading flattish on the day, still hovering below my key level right here. Remember this level here, for those of you that are newbies, just to show you guys how I find this level. I love showing you and teaching you guys this. If we go to our monthly chart on logarithmic, you take your highest pivot from the bull market of 1980 to the bull market of 2011, and that is exactly, look at, if we zoom in on this, that's exactly where price has stalled out. It's a great trend line, by the way. All right, next up, let's flip off logarithmic, and we're going to go over to the silver chart. And if we bring up silver and go back to the daily chart, silver's flat on the day here, and I'm still looking for the potential for it to move down to 29 before it gets that next leg up. By the way, a couple things that I'm seeing here on the charts. Let me, in fact, run over to the chart so I can draw it on for you guys, okay? But really what we have here is, so you have a potential for an M top right here, and here's your A, which also tells you could go down there. And then you also have the potential here is there's also a shoulder right here, head and shoulder. All right, now it's untriggered, but the point is both of those are bearish patterns on silver. And so I'm still expecting silver to at least come back here. Could be wrong. I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. But probability-wise, remember, I live in a world of probability. Probability is when you have multiple pattern formations, you're at least going to get drawn back to this wedge pattern zone right there, and that gives you a buying opportunity on silver. All right, quickly going to oil, which I remain short on oil, but in the money very nicely. We had this beautiful dip on oil, guys. I love seeing these type of dips, especially when I'm short. But you can see oil again breaking back down. And I even said yesterday in the game plan that we would likely be seeing this moving towards $50 a barrel in 2025. And look at this pullback today, deep in the money, over 10% on my SCO with members of Smart Money Commodities. So very cool on that trade right there as it continues to see selling pressure. Lastly, natural gas, which had fallen sharply yesterday, is getting a tiny bounce today. I've told you guys this before, but basically we just want to be aware that if we get a drop into this level, this is your buy level, and if we get a surge into this level, this would be a double top short level. So right now it's a no touch. I banked my money already on this. Now I sit back and I remain unbelievably disciplined because I wait to see what levels hit. And always remember, guys, is that discipline is number one in trading. All right, most people don't have it, and that's why most people don't make money. That's why most people have to be long-term investors, because at least over time, big drops and big pops, they all kind of just trend higher. But again, the idea is if you can be disciplined and just follow the charts, which is hard to do.
Dogecoin's price surged by over 4.5%, driven by easing Middle East tensions, optimism around Wall Street earnings, and Kamala Harris' pledge for clearer crypto regulations in the U.S. Dogecoin's price jump coincided with positive news around easing tensions in the Middle East. Investors also reacted to optimism around the S&P 500, hitting new record highs for the 46th time in 2024, which further fueled the broader crypto market rally. Despite earlier concerns, investors are now positioning for upside surprises in upcoming S&P 500 earnings reports. Analysts expect a 4.2% rise in earnings for the third quarter, contributing to the renewed risk appetite that lifted Dogecoin. U.S. presidential candidate Kamala Harris pledged to support clearer regulatory frameworks for cryptocurrencies, particularly to protect minority investors. Her balanced approach to regulation has been well received by the crypto community, adding momentum to Dogecoin's rise. Dogecoin's price rebound also comes after testing the lower trend line of a multi-week ascending channel. If Doge closes above the 200-day EMA at $0.116, it could target $0.141, while failure risks pulling the price back to the $0.109 level. With improving market sentiment and political support for crypto regulations, Dogecoin's price could continue to see gains in the near future. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.